Hey guys, Dr. Mike here. Today we are going to be talking about competitive advantage, which is also another chapter in my book, Becoming Employable. So, what is a competitive advantage? Competitive advantage would be something where you have an advantage over other people in your life, in your profession, in your health, in different areas. What is your competitive advantage? It could be on the basketball court, it could be on the football field. Do you have something special that you're doing that other people are not doing? Now, the one thing we definitely have to take into consideration is when we compete against other people, we limit ourselves. But when we compete against ourselves, there are no limits. And what does that mean? That means if you're hanging around with a group of people that are playing at a low level and you're better than they are, then you're not really maximizing your potential. So let's just say you're going to the basketball court in the playground and you're playing with a bunch of guys or girls that are way lower level than you. Well, yeah, your competitive advantage is maybe you play on the team or you have some extra skills or you're a little taller than them, but that doesn't necessarily in the overall scheme of the game that you have a competitive advantage over your competition because if big guys come in, you're going to get crushed. Same thing happens in your career. Same thing happens in your health. Same thing happens in your relationships. If you're crappy to the people that are around you, as soon as somebody else comes along, they're going to be gone. Okay. So, whenever we talk about competitive advantage, it's the ability to stay ahead of your present potential competition. So, think about this. And this is more career advice right now than it is anything else. Not so much health, but it can be in health whenever you're thinking about sports. So if you're younger and you want to think of this in a sports perspective, you can do that, or in a career perspective. So one thing that people will talk to me about, and they'll say, well, in the classes that I teach and in my book, it's like, listen, I have no money. You talk about going to conferences, you talk about doing different things in your life, you talk about, all these special courses and classes and things. I have no money. I can't do anything like this. I can't build my personal brand of who I am because I don't have the resources. Well, I'm going to give you 10 things right now that are basically excuses that you could use that you're saying you don't have that you could use for absolutely free that are available to every single person. And think about these in your career and thinking about them in your sports profession. Being on time. How much does it cost you to show up on time every day to work? I know people, if you're supposed to be there at 8:20, show up at 8:21. Or if it's basketball practice or football practice or soccer practice, I start practices directly at 6 o'clock. People will show up at 5:59. That's late. It costs absolutely nothing to be on time for your job because I can guarantee you after being a business owner for 27 years, owning multiple businesses, that the boss always knows, even if they're not around, they always know who's on time and who's late. Work ethic. Work ethic costs you nothing because you've developed that yourself, through yourself. How, do you get things done? Do you stay afterwards? What is your ethic towards work? Are you there at your job or at your practice just to pass some time? Or are you there to actually be the very best you can be? Effort. How much effort? Who can say in anything in their life that they've actually given 100% effort to anything in their life that they've done? Anything. I've talked about this on other videos is if you have given your very best effort, you cannot lose. You cannot lose because in the society that we're in today, people give about a 50%, if even that, effort at everything they do. And then they sit back and bitch and complain about the people that are succeeding. Like, why is he getting more playing time? Why are they getting the job? Because they're not sitting on their butt. They're putting more effort in. They're putting effort in the times when nobody is looking. They're putting study time in at home. They're going to the court, to the field, practicing, getting extra training, doing those things. They've got more effort. And a lot of those things right there cost absolutely no money at all. To get to practice a little bit early or stay afterwards to run some extra laps or do some sprints or take some extra shots cost you nothing. Body language. Do you walk around slumped over, lazy looking, miserable grimace on your face like this, walk around. I know some people that grimace like this so much they got little grimace marks, little frown indentations on their face. Who wants to be around people like that? I don't. They just bring you down. So if you're around somebody, just look at them, because you're not walking around with a mirror looking at yourself, but be conscious of the way things are. Be observant of other people so you can be aware of yourself. Are you walking around and not knowing it? Just frowning like this, looking miserable as hell? Or do you kind of, it doesn't mean you have to walk around with a smile like this, but have your shoulders up. Be confident. Look like you are who you are. Be proud of the person that you are, not slunched over like you're a nobody, because that energy radiates throughout the room. And when you walk in, your body language tells a lot about who you are and what you can do. Energy. Energy costs nothing. Do you stay up till 2 o'clock playing video games and get up for school at 6:30 in the morning? Do you have your job? Do you stay up late at night and then you have to get up and you're completely wasted throughout the entire day? These are things we could take care of. Do you eat junk food all the time so you have no energy? Do you not exercise so you just well, I've gotten into the health side of things a lot in my videos, but just think about ways that you could increase your energy level. Do you take vitamins? Do you do different things? You take vitamin D. Vitamin D is huge, but not only for energy, but for your immune system. Okay. Think about things that can increase your energy. Free. Attitude. Talk about positive attitude the other day. It costs you nothing to have a positive attitude, but I can tell you what, it costs you a lot to have a negative attitude. I've seen people that have the most rotten, negative, nasty attitude, and it can destroy a group. It can destroy an organization. A negative, nasty person can destroy an entire organization, unless you have people that are fighting against it all the time. But having a positive, can-do attitude is definitely something that is free and is going to help you in every single area, in your career, in your health, and also in your relationships. If you have a bad attitude, say, I can never lose weight. I can never meet somebody. I'm never going to get a job. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Nothing. Nothing at all with that type of attitude, because you're not attracting this stuff to you. Well, you're attracting crap. Passion. What is there in your life that you're actually passionate about doing? Because it costs you nothing to be passionate about something. What will you do even if you don't get paid? Do you like to teach things? Do you like to coach? Do you like to play the guitar? Do you like to do you like to work out? Do you like to run? Do you like to do that? There are some people right now, if you ask them, that absolutely hate running. I'm not a big fan of running myself, but then there are other people that are out there every day running. They got a passion for it. So, and here's another thing. To develop that passion, you don't have it and then go do it. A lot of times you have to go do it and develop that passion, because you can't have a passion for something that you've never even tried. So go out and try some things to try to develop a passion for it. Being coachable. Are you one of those kind of people that think they know everything? Are you one of those kind of people that has a miserable attitude that won't even you're so close-minded that all you do is have hate and negativity? A lot of these things right here, being coachable, if you have bad body language, you're low energy, you give no effort, your work ethic is terrible, you have a bad attitude, and you're always late, you're not coachable. You're not teachable. You don't want to become better. No, and I'll tell you right now, if you look at it, most people don't want to become better. My videos aren't for the people. I'm not trying to help anybody. You got to help yourself. That's might be the misconception of this. I was talking to my wife the other night, and she was saying, "You're not." I said, "I'm not here to help anybody. If you came to my site, I don't care what you do. If you listen to the stuff, if you don't listen to the stuff, that's completely up to you. I just make these videos for those people that maybe they want to learn something. Maybe they are coachable. If not, just shut it off and go somewhere else, because it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't matter who views it, but if you are interested and you do want a better life and you want to be part of that 10 or 5 or 1% of the population that actually is trying to achieve, you have to be coachable. Yeah, if you find somebody who makes money, maybe you want to listen to them. If you see somebody that's better at sports, it's like a mentorship. Find somebody who has what you want and then do what they did and ask them for some help. Most people that have money or know some certain things are more than happy to talk to you about themselves. Do extra and be prepared. Doing extra would be, let's just say that there's a volunteer, something to volunteer for in any part in your life. Do you volunteer? I mean, do you even reach down and pick up a piece of paper on the floor when you walk past it? Or do you just leave it sit there and say, it's not my job? Or do you have an office that at the end of the day, there's trash all over the floor and you're like, we have cleaning people. That's not my job. That's theirs. Like, you have to have a little bit of self-respect for yourself, and you got to do a little extra to help each other out, especially if you're part of an organization. You all have to be on the same team. It's not like I've seen a lot of organizations where it's this group versus this group versus this group. Everybody, that's why I hate groupings, because when you start grouping people into different segments like that, then they fight against each other. And I know our government and they try to do that to different races, to different genders, to different ideological groups, to politics. Because if everybody got together and all thought the same way, then things would work, and then we might not need those rulers anymore. So stop being group minded and do extra things to help each other out and be prepared. When you come to work, you come to practice, have your shoes tied, have your money ready, be ready to rock and roll. If your job starts at 8:30, be there at 8:15. So when the clock strikes, you can give your boss, the organization, an honest day's work. Because here's the big one right here. You can write this down and put this on your wall, because what is easy to do is also easy not to do. Think of the things. Is it easy to walk around the block? Sure. But it's also easy to sit in a chair and not do anything. Is it easy to maybe eat something good for you for dinner? Some clean, healthy food? Yeah. But it's also easy not to do it. So anything in your life that is easy to do is also easy not to do. So how do I gain a competitive advantage in my life and in my career and in my sports or whatever? You got to maintain your skills. Okay. You have to be able to be that go-to person, that expert. Think about whenever we went back to our SWOT analysis, our strengths and our weaknesses. You got to always be maintaining your skill set. Let's just say you're a baseball player, or a soccer player. That's my sport that I coach. Are you at the end of the soccer season? And I've had this. Put your spikes away, and then you wait 7 months, blow off your spikes come the start of the season, and then, coach, why am I not playing? What are you talking about? I'm a senior. Well, you didn't maintain your skills. You've got to be on things. If it's in your job, if it's in your career, if it's in your health, you can't just run one time or go lift one time and think that you're going to be good. You got to maintain that over and over. Your body is rented. Think of it as something that you're paying rent on all the time. You don't just go to work on it. You got it. You're in good health, and then you can just leave it go. No, you got to pay daily rent to maintain that. Add value to the company. This is a big one right here. Think about the people who get promoted. Think about the people that make more money. Think about all that. Why do they do that? Why does if you're in a career, why does somebody that works at a bank, maybe as a bank manager, or in any type of career that you go to college for, doctors, lawyers, why do they make more money than the fry cook at McDonald's? Think about it. Maybe they both work hard, but which one is adding more value? How much the guy who flips the burgers and the fries at McDonald's is working hard, but is that as valuable as a doctor, and he's performing a surgery on you, or um, a lawyer who's defending you in court, or those types of things. So think about that, and how in your position or on the team or whatever can you add the most value. That'll give you your competitive advantage. Develop new skills. Here's one thing, and as far as your career, attending classes, workshops, seminars, conferences. But if it's sports, are you going to summer camps? Are you going to winter camps? Are you going to like little clinics? Are you coming early to practice? Are you staying late? Are you, maybe if you're older, are you helping out like youth teams? Because usually when you can teach something, that's when you really start to learn it and understand it. So you got to develop new skills all the time. Improve your interpersonal skills. This is a big one because it's part of my book, the 20 skills. I definitely recommend reading each one of those, doing the 30-day challenges, going to the online course here, going through everything. It's going to take some time, but when you improve your interpersonal skills, and what I mean by that is, can you talk? Can you listen? Are you one of those people that people can approach, or do you have that miserable, nasty, negative looking attitude all the time that people don't want to be around? Do you look like one of those people when you walk in the room, people want you there? Or now, when I say that, you're going to enter some rooms, and I've had this before, where everybody's going to be against you just because of the fact of being against you. Because if somebody is ruled by a bad leader and everybody's scared, and you're the person that may be going in there and fighting against that, you're going to feel like a threat. But just because you feel like a threat doesn't make you a bad person. Okay. So if you're in a group and people are resisting you, don't take it personal, because trust me, that's going to happen in certain situations. But I would definitely work on your communication skills, your ability to work together with people. Don't be afraid of what other people say. Go out there and just talk to people. Go when you're at the grocery store, say hi to somebody. Wherever you're at, just try to talk. Communicate effectively. This is in all different kinds of forms here, and you got to be confident about it, as well as when you're sending emails, text messages, Zoom calls, like way I'm talking right now. If you're in a group thing, you got to be able, you can have the very best idea in the world, but if you can't effectively get that idea across to people, it's useless. It's amazing how many good ideas do you think go to the grave every year because people aren't able to communicate their message. There are people that have bad ideas, but they're amazing communicators that can get stuff across and get people basically manipulated or con them, different things like that. I ran into one situation in an interview where this person knew everything, amazing communicator, didn't know that they were giving all the information up front. I got conned. And that can happen sometimes through communication. So, you get fooled once, you got to always be on the lookout, but make sure that you are communicating effectively to have a competitive advantage, because not everybody does. Exceed expectations. Always do more than what's expected. And a big one with this, depending on where you live, I would say an example of exceeding expectations would be, let's say you're thinking about moving down south. I'm thinking about moving down there. Maybe you want to start working on a second language. Maybe you want to start working on Spanish. Maybe you want to start working on different things to exceed the expectations. People don't expect that type of stuff. In this world right now, I would say exceeding expectations is probably one of the easiest of these I'm talking about, because people's expectations are so low. Go out to dinner, and typically, if you just get your food in a timely manner, that's all you expect. We don't have expectations for high service. We just expect, within maybe 10 minutes, somebody comes over to the table. Maybe we get our food and it's warm. Maybe they come back and ask us if we want a drink or something, or how things are going. The level of service in this country is so poor, which you could take that as a competitive advantage, and no matter what you do, exceed people's expectations, do more than what other people, are expecting, And that will give you a massive, massive competitive advantage against everybody else. Invest in yourself. This is one area that a lot of people are afraid to do, where say there's a course or a clinic or a class or a conference or whatever, and they're like, oh, it costs too much, costs much. They'll go out and spend 80, 90, $100 for dinner, but they won't buy a course online. I'm giving this stuff all away for free because I'm not in this to make money. I want people to be able to learn from my stuff. Like I said, if you're with me at this point right now on this video, because it's a little bit lengthy, maybe you're interested. The other ones, the 80% that have no interest in doing anything with their lives, I've already shut this off. So I'm not talking to them at this point. But what I'm telling you, it's kind of like, you could say it's a secret right now of competitive advantage. Invest in yourself, because that 80% of those people are not going to invest in themselves. So every time you take a step, they're not staying with you. They're falling behind further and further. And imagine over a year's time, when you're investing in yourself and they're not, you're going to create a gap that's going to be so big, they're never going to be able to catch up. If you keep on that investment thing, that gap's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it'll exponentially explode once you get to a certain point, because you're not, every time you do something, you're not starting at zero. When they're here, they're starting at zero, then they get 5, and then maybe they'll add and add. But when you're here, you're not starting at zero. You've already on 50. So if you're going to make a big jump, it could be a massive one, bigger than that jump was down here. So it's almost impossible for your competition to keep up if you are diligent and you're always investing in yourself. Join a professional association. This one right here is critical because it's part of networking. And the best way to network, I would recommend that every single person here, first of all, has a LinkedIn page and has it updated and it looks good, and they followed the LinkedIn training. And you can go to my LinkedIn page at Dr. Michael Baptiste and check out mine to see how I've taught that class. I've kind of developed my page around what is required there. And I've got like 1,000 people in my network there. Don't know them all. Doesn't matter, because whenever I go to organizations or colleges that I want to teach at or jobs that I might want, and I try to connect with as many people there as I can, so I keep up on the information that's going back and forth, because I'm in their feed all the time and it's coming up on my page. So that's one way, professional organization. There's also ones in your field. If I'm in the sports management, there's different sports management clubs. There's also different social clubs like the Lions, the Masons, that type of thing. Different things through your church, different organizations. And the last one is hone your leadership skills. You should always be doing everything you possibly can. You might be like, I don't want to be a leader. So let's say you work in a team of 4 and in your group, who's leading the group? Nobody says you have to be paid more or you have to have a title, but let's say you're a parent, you have a family. Who's the leader? Unfortunately, and I'll say this because I see it, because my wife's a teacher and I coach young kids. What's happening right now is the leaders of the household are the 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds. They're the ones that are leading the house. Do you know how many times I've seen kids show up to a soccer practice outside when it's 30 degrees in shorts and a t-shirt, and they're purple, and their parents are standing over, sitting on the bleachers with a winter coat on and a hat and gloves, and they're nice and warm. And I'm like, I go over to the parents, like, well, Johnny didn't want to wear it. Well, Johnny's not running the house. Johnny's 6 years old. Johnny's not supposed to be making these types of decisions. Johnny doesn't make the decisions on whether he wants to study for a test or not. Johnny doesn't make the decisions on if he wants to wear a coat to the bus stop. Those kids don't make those decisions. Parents do. So it's a parent thing too, and as well as far as the leadership. Leadership is not just you're hired for a position, you're paid more, and you're like the boss. You've got to be a leader, and the main person that you need to lead in your life is yourself. We talked about lying to yourself the other day. Can you lead yourself? Because if you can't lead yourself in your health, in your career, or in your relationships, how are you ever, if you have any aspirations, going to ever expect to lead anybody, anything, anywhere? mean, if you are completely out of shape, you don't have a job, and you're sitting at home by yourself, I mean, you wouldn't be expected or asked to lead a two-person parade. So you got to decide what you want and get it together, and lead yourself so you can lead others, so we can make this world, because individual excellence is the only way we're going to turn this country around. We're going to turn the community around. We're going to turn school districts around. Everybody's got to be trying to be the very best person they can possibly be, and stop trying to put everybody else down. Stop trying to destroy everybody. Stop this behind the scenes, all the time, and always just everybody wants to hurt somebody behind the scenes because they're so insecure about themselves. Stop it. Stop it, and just be the best person you could possibly be in all three of those areas: in your health, in your career, and in your relationships. If you could do that and have personal excellence and inspire others to do the same thing, you will see your organization, you'll see your community, and hopefully this country turn completely around. So with that, if you're still with me, remember, there are only so many tomorrows. So take all this information and live your best life now. Take care, guys. I'll talk to you again in the next video.